Okay, Steve, that's great. Yeah. Any other questions? We want many from the audience? Come on up. Yeah. Yeah, everybody will be able to ask a question, so, yeah. And if you can, it's going to be directed to all city council candidates, so they'll all be answering.
Being on the school board here in Hermosa Beach, I'm glad to hear all the nice things being said about the schools. We are in deep trouble financially. We've relied on our parents to support the schools in the manner in which we feel, I mean, we scrape by with their support. We have the music program is gone. There's just a whole lot of things that have been cut and cut and cut. We are, as Michael referred to, the efforts that we've made over the last year to sort of see what we can do, and we're now at a point where we are going to have to make some decisions whether we're going to ask for a parcel tax or for convert the schools to charter schools, to try to do, there's a sales tax that could be done, but it would require an election, well, anyways, a 2/3 vote, and it requires 4 out of 5 of the council people to approve it. So anyway, but the parcel tax it will be probably on our, well, I know that we're going to be discussing it again on our agenda this month, and just wondered what your opinion would be. Would you support the schools if we did go that route?
Okay, thanks. Pete?
As I stated earlier, I had 2 children go through this, through our school system. I remember when we first started, we used to collect newspapers and what they call newspaper drives. We were the PTO at the time. I think we ran the first food booth venue at the Fiesta until the health department got on our case because we didn't have enough ice for the condiments and things like that. So we lost that money chain. But I've done a lot of work and a lot of volunteer work at the school to make it work. And as I've stated, and I've stated many times, and even in the state of the city, that this is the next challenge for our community, is what we will do with our school system. And I'm 100% behind keeping it in Hermosa. To be honest with you, I would favor a parcel tax. From what I've heard, if we had merged with Manhattan or Redondo, the amount of, we would combine their bonds and ours, and the figure would be astronomical. I feel that the school board is on the right track to keep it reasonable, to where we can keep it here in Hermosa, the rates very reasonable, and I will march the streets to do that for our school and really for the future of the city and our children. That's why people come to this community, is our school system. And I think to me, sometimes it's probably a lot even more important than a lot of things we do up here on the dais for the city as your council representative. The schools are the backbone of this community, and the children are our future. And I think it's very important that whatever you as a board decide, since we're really separate entities, that we support one another. I know we have donated or do some in-kind services with the school.
Can you summarize?
With certain things to help reduce the costs and to keep the doors open. But I would like to take the library surplus money we have, because we overpaid in the library system, and see somehow if we could ask the Board of Supervisors to allow us to fund the library at the school. It's the same function, although it's not in the county, but without a question, I will be the first one with a sign on my house and in my hand to keep our schools in this community. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Haney?
All right, thanks for your question. I'll be number 2 right behind Councilman Tucker on that list. I think 15 years ago, when I was first looking into property in the South Bay, I had a realtor that was showing me properties in Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach, and I was single and had no plans to be married anytime soon. I had no kids, and every place we went to, she told me about the schools that are close to that area and the school districts. And after the 3rd property, I kind of reminded her, it's like, you know that I'm single and I have no plans to be married and I have no kids. But it stuck in my mind 15 years ago, the impact of school districts on property value, because that shit kept on telling me. It doesn't matter how long you own this property, you're going to sell it at some point, and the person you're going to sell it to are going to ask about the school district in the area, and that's important for your property value. So I stopped asking that question. But basically, as Councilman Tucker mentioned, the importance of our school to our community is significant. And I know you are in a better position to make these evaluations and make decisions and recommendations. But if the recommendation comes out that partial tax is the way to go, I'll be right behind Councilman Tucker supporting that. If the recommendation is to have a sales tax, and if you need 4 out of 5 people to vote for that, I'll be one of these 4 people. I think our schools are very important to our community. It makes us unique and it distinguishes us from others, and I think it's very important that we support our schools the best way we can, and I'll be right in line for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Haney. Steve?
You'll soon be getting a mailer of the best buys for the month of October in the South Bay area, and I have my 6 bullet points on here, the things that I would do to first start as a councilman. The second one is, it says I will donate my salary to the Hermosa Beach Educational Foundation. Okay? So that in itself explains how I feel about education. I can remember many years ago, I went to the same school my entire life, from kindergarten through 12th grade. And like I said, I was one of 9 kids. And my father took me when I was 14 years old to the school credit union or the church credit union, and I borrowed $50 to pay for my freshman year in high school. The tuition was $50. My payment to the credit union was $4.50 a month, because at that point my father couldn't afford it. So I understand how important it is for the kids to get a great education, and anything that we can do to support our local schools and keep them in Hermosa Beach, you can count on my vote. And by the way, you get $2 off your next chicken dinner if you vote for me.
Thanks. That's good. Thanks, Steve. Michael?
I don't know how to top that, Steve. I didn't offer any discounts tonight. Which what? Which chicken?
Yeah, it has to be in Beirut.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. We can laugh. Ray, thanks for asking the question, because we need to be talking about this as community-wide more, and so I appreciate you bringing it up. As you know, I'm one of the 2 members on the City Council School Board Compact. I've been on that since 2007 when I restarted. It had stopped for too many years, and that has been the impetus of a lot of the in-kind work that we're doing. And frankly, I don't think we can find enough projects, as you know, to borrow from you so that we can take on, whether it's trash, lawn service, etc., the parking lot. I'm going to continue to do that. That's basic. I also want to continue having the kind of cross-community dialogue that we kicked off with Project Forward in 07, 08. I think that was critical to actually getting over the discussion about the bridge and actually, for once and for all be headed in the same direction about fixing and providing solutions to fix. Having said that, I have told the compact that I will support their demands, their needs, your needs, on if sales tax is in fact what it is. I trust your judgment. I'm deliberating, I guess you could say, about which one of those 2 I like better. I don't know which one I do, but I trust what you guys think is best for you and the school. I do think that there are other components. I think the school district needs to continue to demonstrate what the city's doing, which is that we're maintaining costs. We haven't raised salaries in 4 years. We're looking at cutting costs 10% this upcoming cycle. I don't expect that you'll do the same things we do, but I think demonstrating that demonstrates merit to go out and ask for some increase. I also think that there's some longer-term conversations that should continue. I don't know the answers to them yet, but charter needs to be a continued conversation done right, that's responsive and respectful of the teachers, but that might free up the district to do things more innovative in nature. I also think the endowment needs to be really developed further. Those are 2 long-term solutions, but I think we've got some short-term solutions, which you've asked for specifically, which we're already doing to some extent. And we also really need to be thinking about this as a 10-year issue. And those are at least two solutions I've heard being discussed that are.
Can you summarize?
Yeah, that those are two solutions I've heard being discussed that I'm intrigued by. And so I continue to want to be your partner doing that.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Next question. Anybody from the audience? Yeah, come on up.
Hi, my name is Bernie Robbins, 1510 The Strand, Hermosa. When you started talking about the 10% cut that the council is going to take up, I got interested in hearing about that, and I have a thought. And Mr. Powers, when you suggested you were going to give up your salary for the school district, I thought maybe that's a good start, because I don't know if anybody on the council, when you start talking about this, I haven't heard about this. Have you been thinking about setting an example and reducing, let's say, the council's pay and the benefits and the car? I think that would go a long ways toward doing something really constructive when you start talking about cutting. If you start at the top, everybody says you're in it,